D102.
Sunday at the 70s with Doug Quick on WDNL Danville.
The best variety and the most music. WDNL D102.
You're in the middle of 25 minutes of pure 70s Nirvana on D102.
You have to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
I am here to announce my intention to seek the Republican nomination for President of the United States.
Of course not. It's only the beginning.
I'm going to make him an offer again. My name is Paul. James.
Hello, this is Carlton, your doorman.
You talking to me? You talking to me?
Because people have got to know whether or not their presidents are crook. Well, I'm not a crook.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Quiet, numbskulls. I'm broadcasting.
D102.
Good afternoon and welcome. It's another edition of Sunday at the 70s. I'm Doug Quick. I'll be along until 3 this afternoon. Got some Three Dog Night right now.
Just to know that's a little harmony.
Doug Quick knows the 70s. It's Sunday at the 70s on D102.
You are the woman. That is Firefall from D102 with the best variety, the most music. Good afternoon and welcome. It's another edition of Sunday at the 70s. I'm Doug Quick. Thank you so much for making us a part of your weekend. We're not only remembering the 70s musically, but we're also remembering the 70s as far as what was making news that year. Let's go back to the year 1975. Puerto Rican nationalists bombed a cafe in New York City, killing 4 and wounding 50. Sort of an early attempt at some terrorism there, although we didn't call it terrorism back in 1975. As remaining Americans fled South Vietnam, the government surrendered to the communists. Former Teamster President Jimmy Hoffa disappeared in the year 1975. As part of the administrative shakeup known as the Halloween Massacre, Henry Kissinger resigned as Security Council head, and President Ford named George Bush as CIA director. The corruption investigation that had toppled Vice President Agnew resulted in indictments for Maryland Governor Marvin Mandel and 5 staffers on racketeering charges. A former Charles Manson follower, Lynette Squeaky Fromm, unsuccessfully attempted to assassinate President Ford in Sacramento, California. The Vatican canonized Elizabeth Seton as its first American-born Catholic saint. And 113 people died when lightning struck a jet approaching New York's Kennedy International Airport. The strike shut down the jet's power, causing it to spin in and crash. All in the Family was America's top TV show for the 5th straight year. Hollywood Squares was the leading daytime show, and Saturday Night Live received an Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Series. Some of the other TV shows that premiered that year included Beretta, Barney Miller, Starsky and Hutch, One Day at a Time, Welcome Back, Kotter, and Saturday Night Live. In sports news, track and field star John Walker runs the mile in 3 minutes, 49 seconds, 0.4. That's 49.4 seconds. And VCRs started to come into at least some visibility during the year 1975. They only cost about $1,000 back then. Anyway, that's what's going on in the world of showbiz and what was making news during the year 1975. As we continue to remember the 70s, we've got look at that weather track forecast for you coming up. We're going to follow that with War next from D102 and Sunday at the 70s.
Attention all tanners. Tan at Florida Tan Centers.
I'm weather track meteorologist Patty McClain.
D102.
Sunday at the 70s on D102.
The Spinners and I'll Be Around from D102 with the best variety, the most music. That takes us back to October of the year 1972. That, by the way, was the highest charting song from the Spinners. Got up to number 3 on the charts back in 1972. As we continue to remember the 70s this afternoon, be sure and tune in tomorrow afternoon at 12:20 for another edition, the early afternoon edition of the Hollywood Papers, news from the world of showbiz. That's at 12:20 tomorrow afternoon, right here on D102. We're continuing to remember the 70s this afternoon. Jerry Rafferty is on the way next.
Looking for a great fireworks display house? 9 East 14th Street in Tilton.
The best variety, D102.
D102 with the best variety, the most music. Make sure you're a member of the McD102 Drive-Thru Club. That enables you to pick up a great offer each and every week just by being a member and pulling through the drive-thru at any of the Vermilion County McDonald's. Be sure and stop in at any Vermilion County McDonald's in Danville, Oakwood, or Hoopston for more details on becoming a member.
Ow, these are good.
Yeah, just leaning back there doing some reminiscing with a Little River Band at D102 with the best variety, the most music, maybe reminiscing about this week at the Vermilion County Fair. Today is the final day of the Vermilion County Fair. Stock car races coming up a little later tonight. Of course, still, attractions continue with entertainment, food, and, of course, a terrific carnival. So check it out. Vermilion County Fair, final day today at the Vermilion County Fairgrounds. Coming up next hour, another long set of continuous music. We're going to be hearing from Boston, also the Bee Gees, Steely Dan, the Bay City Rollers, Shy Lights, and more as we continue to remember the 70s. It's Sunday of the 70s on D102.
When you're looking for
More
music
information and read it carefully before you invest. Vanguard Marketing Corporation Distributor.
it's another 25 minutes of continuous music from the 70s. Sunday at the 70s on D102. Sunday at the 70s with Doug Quick on WDNL Danville.
The best variety and the most music, WDNL D102.
Sunday at the 70s. You're in the middle of 25 minutes of continuous music from the 70s on D102.
D102 with the best variety, the most music, waking you up tomorrow morning with Carol and Chuck and the More Music Morning Show. Also giving you a chance to win, too. So be sure and tune in. Start your week off right. And you're in the midst of another long set of continuous music. Every great song out of the 70s. That's what we play for you each and every Sunday afternoon. We're going to reel in the years. Here's Steely Dan, D102. Song went to number 1 during March of 1972. That is Oh Girl and the Shy Lights at D102 for the best variety, the most music, and we got a chance for you to win a hot tub from Budweiser, Quick Pools and Spa, and D102 be listening for details on this very special contest to determine a winner. That will be coming up on July 13th. It's all from Budweiser, Quick Pools and Spa, and D102. Well, we're trying to keep you cool here on this Sunday afternoon. We're going to check out that weather track forecast for you. It's coming up next. We're going to follow that with some Blondie. Next from D102.
Weather track meteorologist Patty McClain.
D102.
You're listening to Sunday at the 70s with Doug Quick on D102.
Hey, it's a Disco Inferno. Those are the Tramps from D102 with the best variety, the most music. Good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for making us a part of your weekend. We appreciate having you tuned in. We do this each and every Sunday afternoon from 12 noon until 3 o'clock. Still a lot of people out there discovering Sunday at the 70s, and we appreciate having you along this afternoon. And if you're looking at maybe assembling a good representative, maybe CD collection. Ooh, I hate saying that. Here, we're in the 70s. It's supposed to be vinyl, right? Well, let's just call it albums. How about that, huh? If you're looking at assembling a great album collection out of the 1970s, let's go back to the year 1975 and check out the top 10 albums of that year. The Eagles had the number 10 selling album with On the Border. Before that, it was AWB with the Average White Band. How about An Evening with John Denver at number 8? Captain Fantastic and the Brown Dirt Cowboy from Elton John was the number 7 seller that year. Before that, it was Linda Ronstadt's Hard Like a Wheel. Phoebe Snow's self-titled album was at number 5. Back Home Again with John Denver was at number 4. That's The Way of the World, Earth, Wind, and Fire at number 3. John Denver's Greatest Hits was the number 2 selling album that year. Now we'll go on to Elton John. He was the number 1 seller with his Greatest Hits album. That takes us all back to the year 1975. Good start to a record collection there, because all of those are Greatest Hits albums, huh? So check them out at a record store near you, or a CD store, or video store, wherever they sell music nowadays. Anyway, we got some Elton John. He was the big seller the year 1975. We're going to go a couple of years earlier with Rocket Man. Great song from Reginald Dwight. He's coming up next. It's Sunday at the 70s on D102.
Hi, this is Dr. Ron Surfoss from Chittick Family Eye Care with the latest eye care update.